connector, slip the pipe in, pushing firmly, and hand tighten. This is a very easy method, but also a very expensive one. It's also a very large fitting compared to the copper and would not be suitable for tight places or behind walls or under floors. For this section you'll require solvent cement, wire wool, a hacksaw or a specialised plastic pipe cutter, and UPVC trichoethylene solvent cleaner. Plastic pipework is used primarily for waste and pipework which is on show. You should always use plastic pipes for your sink, bath and toilet wastage. In this demonstration we will show you how to simply join two pieces of straight pipe together. However, this technique can be used for joining any types of plastic pipe. To do this you need to either use solvent cement, which is similar to welding, or you can use a compression fitting. We will show you how to do a solvent weld. If you look carefully at your plastic pipe, you will see it has a natural sheen on it. You have to remove this, and the best way is to use wire wool. To cut plastic pipe, the cheapest method is a hacksaw. This is a difficult method to get a good straight edge, and when you are solvent welding, you do need to make sure you have a good straight edge. You can, however, get a specialised plastic pipe cutter. This operates on a wheel, which clamps onto the pipe, cutting the groove, giving a nice straight edge. The release mechanism at the bottom allows you to adjust the cutter to up to 75mm pipe. Line the cutter up with the pipe and tighten the wheel firmly. Be careful not to crush the pipe. As you turn the cutter round, you must turn the wheel at the bottom after every 2 or 3 turns to move the blade further in. Continue to do this until the pipe is cut. Similar to copper pipes, you must clean the inside and the outside of the pipe where the join will be with wire wool, making sure you take off the sheen on the outside of the pipe. Then you need to clean it using the UPVC solvent cleaner and a cloth. Wipe it around the surface you've just cleaned with the wire wool. This makes the surface spotlessly clean and will make the solvent weld a lot quicker. Solvent cement is not glue. It actually fuses the two plastics together. You must use this only in well-ventilated areas. Coat both surfaces in solvent cement. Push them together and twist to make sure that the solvent spreads around the join. Once the pipes are joined, they must be left and put under no stress for at least 25 minutes. After this time, the pieces are as solid as a normal piece of pipe. There are many different pieces and sizes available. T-pieces, elbows, 45° and 90° angular. You would normally use 1 1/4 inch on basin waist and 1 1/2 inch on bath waist. If you're not happy with solvent welding, then you can use compression fittings. Compression fittings again come in all the various different shapes and sizes, straight connectors, elbows and T's. The one demonstrated is a 1 1/2 to 1 1/4 inch reducer. The way these work are very similar to the copper. You have the nut, plastic compression ring and a rubber sealing ring. When fitting to the pipe, you must put the nut on first, then the compression ring, and then the sealing ring. The sealing ring has got a tapered edge. You must put the tapered edge towards the fitting. Bring the fitting in, push up so the tapered edge is squeezing onto the fitting. Bring up the compression nut and you hand tighten only. The reason for this is because the join will never be under pressure. On the other side, you must repeat the process. You must put the nut on first, then the compression ring, then the sealing ring. This section will show you the various wastage traps that can be used on sinks and baths. All baths and sinks should have these traps fitted to them because they collect debris and help to prevent the pipes from becoming blocked. All of these are available from local plumbers merchants. One of the traps that you can fit onto a basin is called a bottle trap. This part fits onto the waste end of the basin, and this part is where the waste runs down and joins the main stack. This bottom part is the bottle trap, which is where the debris is collected. You should clean this out every so often. Ideally, these are used on a pedestal basin because it sits nicely behind the pedestal. These are also available in chrome. The other type of trap you can use for a basin is an S trap. This end attaches to the waste and water runs off in an S. These are adjustable and will twist in the middle. It will do the same job, but allow for tighter gaps. This pipe is the down pipe, which lets the water go down into the waste. If you want to go straight out through the wall, at this point it will come round and go straight out through the wall. This is called a P-trap, and it will do exactly the same job with exactly the same amount of flexibility. This is called a shallow bath trap. It is not as deep as a basin trap. A basin trap needs to be a minimum of 75 millimeters deep because of the shape of the appliance. A bath trap, however, can be shallow, a minimum of 50 millimeters deep. It's important to reseal the trap when you empty it, because there's no water in this part. Drain smells may come up through the trap and into the bathroom. On some of these there is a pipe at the bottom. This is an access eye to clean out the bottom of the trap without having to take it off the appliance. This is a 1 1/4 inch slotted basin waste. The slots are designed to meet up with the overflow that is built into a wash basin. The flat steel area is where you add a sealing compound to seal it to the appliance. It goes through the hole in the basin, a polythene washer comes up underneath the basin, and then you tighten up the locking washer. This is a waste point for a bath. It comes in a complete set with a bath wastage overflow as one. On our demo model there's a soft fibre washer already on the underside, which means you don't have to use a sealing compound. This comes in conjunction with what fits underneath the bath. So when the two come together with the bath between, they then form a seal. These are held together on the top of the bath with a screw, which when tightened forms the seal. There will be instructions included with any parts that you buy, and you should follow these instructions using this DVD as a guide. Above the plug point is the overflow point, which is 3 separate parts. The part that the overflow connects to, a soft rubber washer, and the overflow connection, nice and shiny because it goes on the outside of the bath. Bring the two together with the rubber seal on the bath side and hand tighten only, forming a seal. These come in different sizes, depending on the size of the hole in the overflow point of your bath, so make sure you look and buy the one you need. So now that you have your two pieces in position, you must join the two pipes at the back of the bath with a flexible overflow pipe. This is a standard fit which will just push on to both ends. The bath trap connects directly onto the bottom of this, hand tighten only. The waste then runs away at the back, out through the wall or down through the main stack. You slot your basin waste pipe through the basin and attach it in exactly the same way. It is imperative with any waste fittings that you ensure the rubber seal is in place. This hand tightens only into place. The waste can either go down or through the wall into the main stack pipe. This is a standard WC pan connector which connects your toilet to the main waste stack. It can go in this position, or straight down. The one demonstrated is a standard 90-degree bend. You can also get straight ones, and these can be cut and modified. There are various shapes and sizes for the feeder to tap into. Ask your local plumber's merchant and they will give you any advice you need. If you cannot make a connection when you change the angle of the WC, there are flexible fittings available, but these should only be used as a last resort because they have a serrated edge. A smooth bore is always better than flexi fitting. However, this will allow you to get around any difficulties that you may come across. If you have problems fitting a new bath waist to an old pipe, this again is a flexi fitting to get you around any slight angles. It is a compression fitting, exactly the same as before, but again, you should try and avoid using serrated edges because it affects the flow of the water. This section will show you the various types of taps and how to connect them to sinks and baths. This is intended only as a guide, as taps come in various different shapes and sizes and will contain individual instructions which should be followed. We will also learn how to check our taps for leaks and drips. For this you will need a flat-headed screwdriver. This is a basin tap because it has a 15mm thread. Bath taps look exactly the same, but with a 22mm thread. On the underside you attach a washer and then a back nut. This tightens up and holds the tap in position. Pointing up, always make sure the contact is on the right. Bath taps come in various shapes and sizes. This is a standard 22mm mixer, cold on the right and hot on the left. The water is actually mixed in the spout, not in the body. Again, fixed to the bath in the same way, it's nice and flat at the bottom. Our demo model has a rubber washer, which goes on top of the appliance to form a seal, and the back nut screws up, sealing it to the appliance. On the end of taps you have some form of filter or diffuser. When you're fitting new pipelines, make sure you take these out when you flush the system for the first time, because it will collect all the dirt and rubbish lying in the pipeline and will stop the water flowing properly. Using a screwdriver, simply pop it out. Some other more expensive versions will have a screw which needs to be unscrewed. The same applies for bath taps as well. This is an isolation or service valve which needs to be fitted under the basin on the hot and cold water pipes and the WC cold water feed. On the centre is a screw, and inside is a ball valve. When the screw is in the upright position, as it is now, the valve is open. When the screw is across, the valve is closed. These do not need to be fixed to the bath taps. If they're not already on there, it is a gravity-fed system. You cannot fit these to your cold and hot water feed for the bath because they're 22mm. Underneath the unit, to connect the pipe in, we use what's called a tap connector. This one is a straight connector. On the head is a fibre washer that joins up with the tap and tightens up. Make sure the fibre washer causes the seal by using a spanner. This part here is a standard 15mm compression nut. You don't always have to use straight tap connectors. There are others available. Another type of connector available is a 90-degree angle connector with a built-in service valve. Once again, a fibre washer creates the seal, and with the tap in that position, you can still gain access to the service valve and isolate the tap. It is important that you can gain access to the service valves, and when screwing in the taps, make sure it is in the position with the easiest access. All the fittings we have just shown you are also available in 22mm. To save you connecting up to the back of the basin, which can be quite tricky, you can use a flexi pipe with a built-in service valve at the end. The top end attaches to the tap, and the bottom end is a standard 15mm compression nut. On the top end is a rubber sealant washer, which tightens up onto the tap with a spanner, and the opposite end is the isolator valve, giving you room to move about freely, meaning that you don't have to be as precise with your pipework. These are ideally used behind a pedestal basin, or if you're going to put in a vanity unit and you can't see it. They come in different lengths, 300mm like the one demonstrated, 400, 500, 600, all the way up to 1.2 meters, helping you around a variety of problems. They also come in 22mm, but make sure that you're allowed to fit them. If you notice your taps are starting to leak at all, it is relatively simple to repair. If you have a drip from here, this would suggest that the washer has worn out. If there is dripping from there, this means the rubber olive has worn on the inside. Underneath the tap will be some form of isolation. Locate this and isolate the tap before you do anything. It is a good idea at this point to put the plug in the sink to stop any parts falling down the drain. Gently prise the top of the tap off. Inside you will see a screw. Remove this gently. Lift the head of the tap off and take off the headgear using an adjustable spanner. Some of the washers have screws on the end, but they will all come off easily. Prise the washer out and replace it with a new one. At this point, we recommend that you change the olive as well, because it will save you having to carry out this process twice in a short amount of time. Check the seating on the inside of the tap. There's a shiny brass ring on the inside of the tap, and that is the tap seat. If the tap seat is worn or is pitted, the tap will not seat properly. To reseat this, you will need a tap reseating tool, as shown on screen. This red bit has different threads on it. There are normally 2 in a pack with 14 threads, and this will centralize the spindle. Line it up on the tap using just your fingers. Turn it 6 times, and then undo it again. Check the seat is nice and shiny and flat. Reinsert the headgear, hold the tap, and nip it tight with a spanner. Put the head back on, and put the cap back on. Re-enable the water supply underneath and test the tap to see if it works properly. This section will show you all the various types of flushing systems that can be fitted in your toilet system. This is again only intended as a guide. We would recommend following the instructions included with the system. These are all